That notification should be coming your way. Just a welcome. Dr. Hammer and I are going to walk you through some information about virtual instruction. You may or may not have heard there's a chance for some inclement weather, and so we're trying to get prepared for that. So, Dr. Hammer, why don't I screen share the presentation and I'll let you kick us off if that's okay?
No, that sounds great. That sounds
Okay.
great. We did email you several things. This is the first piece of information that we sent you. You'll see it's a actual presentation for your staff if needed, that walks through some of the expectations surrounding virtual instructional plan. Um, we here's the first piece of it. Legislation allows us to plan for virtual instruction for severe weather. We are only able to do that if we have used all of the built-in days in our calendar. Currently, we have used 2 days. We have 2 days left. The 2 days that we have left are April 7th and June 12th. So we have 2 days left. With this weather that is forthcoming and Justin Burke's forecast, we wanted to be prepared for this just in case things get bad. I've seen as low as 2 inches, as high as 30 inches coming our way, and I'm sure you have seen all things in between. Maryland is fickle. We know this could happen or could not happen, but as good soldiers, we will be prepared. The next piece of this is that we are to be discussing this at a public board meeting. We did this last year, and I did reach out in November to MSDE, and they said that we do not have to do it every year, so it has not this year been presented to the board. However, the requirements of the plan, as per COMAR, are that attendance needs to be taken. The students have to have the ability to make up the missed work. That we have to make sure that necessary devices are available and they have access to Wi-Fi, and that IEPs are implemented. Those are basically the main hot shots of COMAR that are required to be in place. Okay. Um, the next piece is this actual virtual instructional plan. And this goes from soup to nuts, pretty much what is in this presentation, but it does list it out very clearly, all of the expectations. And this is what is living on our website right now, and it has been updated for this year. Um, you need to orient yourself with that and make sure your staff is aware of that. Hopefully, this presentation will help your staff understand what their expectations are if we happen to push to Wednesday or any other time for that matter. Okay. And so the next step is also to help them prepare for Zoom and Schoology access. Sean, if you can go to the next slide, we'll talk
Yes.
about what these look like in a moment. The instructional resources that are going to be used for virtual instructional in preschool through grade one, paper packets should be distributed to students. And we understand there's only 3 days between now and Friday to get those paper packets together. There was a year, I know, that we were all prepared for this, and they may still be existing in the back of somebody's file cabinet. If not, they will have to be prepared. And I'm hoping our coordinators will help us give some guidance on that for our staff as well in early childhood. Grades 2 through 5, lessons can be posted in Schoology or paper packets can be sent home. And that is at the discretion of the building principal and or teacher, correct, Dr. Johnson?
That's correct. And I want to comment here that elementary schools have a limited number of devices, and you should prioritize distributing Chromebooks beginning in fifth grade and working your way backwards, right? So it's very likely that your grade two students may not be eligible for a Chromebook just because of the number of devices that are available. That's okay. I also know that some of you have communicated, look, we're going to push paper packets around this activity to our families. That's okay. The important thing here is you communicate with your families about what your intentions are so they know what's coming.
Hands. Please make sure they are fully charged. We have a whole nother challenge of getting actual chargers to go home with them. We would hope that we will be able to use our 2 inclement weather days in a best case scenario and then be done and don't have to jump to virtual instruction. But if we do, we want to make sure we have a charged Chromebook. Um, all teachers, it's the expectation that they provide directions to their students about how to access Zoom. that they provide families with a daily schedule and that they email those directions and links directly to either students in secondary or families in elementary and secondary. Okay. Let's take a look at how attendance will be taken. First of all, if students participate in either Schoology or Zoom, if they have that participation, they are present. If they complete their work, they're present. Those students who do not participate, we do not document their participation. Makeup work will be provided for them. Okay. So the students obviously will be checking their email. In secondary schools, our elementary school students no longer have access to email.
And I think it probably goes without saying, but it's probably a good time for us just to remind you that when you're talking with your staff about this, we're not looking for them to design lessons that will be used in their national board certified teaching portfolio. We are looking for them to direct the activity of students on a snow day, right? So, one of the things that happens is people want to do well. I understand that, but we want to temper expectations that this is going to be a snow day, and a snow day, a virtual day of instruction is not going to be able to be the same as an in-person day. So I'll talk through the elementary schedule and just kind of talk through where we are with that. So these items are also available in the virtual plan that Dr. Hammer mentioned a moment ago as well. You'll note that generally speaking, we have a 4-hour window where teachers need to be available for synchronous instruction. And this schedule has been the same for our elementary schools for quite a while. And so it can continue as planned. I will mention that as written in our plan, special area teachers only deliver a primary and intermediate lesson, and so students would participate in whatever, let's say our first virtual day is Wednesday. Whatever special area course those students would have on a Wednesday, they should access those materials and work with that teacher. So we will follow the schedule as presented. Fun fact, Monday is the first day of a new marking period. So let's just add some real fun to this. So, there'll be some shifts and some changes. We understand that we are not adjusting the date of the marking period. We're going to honor the calendar as it is right now, but want you to know and understand what's happening there. So, a reminder about this synchronous instruction component: teachers are expected to be available on Zoom for a 4-hour period of time. That is generally speaking the expectations, right? So what does that mean? Does the teacher have to teach for 4 uninterrupted hours? No, I don't think that's at all what it says. The teacher can orient students to the task, direct their work, does not, but does need to be available and needs to communicate to families. Here's how you can reach me. I'll be available at this Zoom link. I'll be checking my email throughout the day. I'll be monitoring those kinds of things to respond to questions as they come up. This is a key part of the virtual day plan, is an access to an instructor. So we appreciate you making sure your staff is aware that there needs to be a way that a family can access them with questions. We're going to talk about staff expectations. And so let me screen share again the document that we've shared, that slide deck for you, to kind of direct the work of your team. Essentially, a virtual workday is a work day. Every person that works for your building instructionally should be, working with and be directed by the virtual plan. So paraprofessionals should attend, if they're a one-to-one, they should attend the scheduled synchronous sessions for their students. They should follow that schedule as best they can. Um, and principals, what we're asking you to do is to direct the work of your SSTs and MIP paraprofessionals, other support staff members. We're deferring them to you, right? And we are also making the assumption that they're going to use their time wisely, and that they're going to be available during the workday and support students as best they can. I do know and acknowledge one of the tough parts about this is inclement weather may mean that individuals lose power. We will have to acknowledge that. What if that happens? We will do the best we can, right? We're not able to build the plan around that, but it is an outcome that could happen. And then, of course, our secretarial staff will have the option to work remotely, similar to what our practice has been for weather throughout the year. Okay, that was a lot of information.